This is Andi Purewal for Boxing News. I'm joined by Joshua Buatsi here in Birmingham. Joshua, you've come to my ends just to fight. I appreciate you doing that.
Bro. Wow.
How's life?
So this is boxing news. Okay, cool. Life is good, man. Life must be good for you too, man.
It's gone very well. I don't know whether you saw, obviously, so we was ID Boxing and we've merged with Boxing News now. So myself, obviously, Rob Tebbett, somebody you know well, and the rest of the team, Ryan, Jordan, Ben, alongside Matt Christie, Elliot and Nick from the Boxing News. Like everyone's still together, just all together now. So yeah.
Wicked. That's good news then. But I'm good, thank you, man. I'm in your neck of the woods. I haven't fought in Birmingham before, so this is something new.
Something new. I don't think many would have expected to see your return to the ring to be up here, and here we are with Pawel Stepien, who's just over there. I think he's having a bit of a Caesar salad. So yeah, this fight, where did it come from? Why Stepien for your first fight back on Sky Sports and your first under the Boxer banner?
An opponent that I was presented with, that I accepted because I said, you know what, he was getting ready to fight Callum Smith. He was already in camp, in good shape, good condition. And is willing to fight the likes of Callum Smith, so he'll be up for it. So yeah, we chose him because of that.
Obviously, everybody knows about your ambitions to go on to world honours, Josh, and with this being your first fight back in a while now, do you feel like you need to really reintroduce yourself with a statement on Saturday night, or are you not thinking about it?
I think it's inevitable that the aim is to have a banging performance where someone will be like, oh, do you know what? That sick performance by Buatsi, I put him back out there in the mix. So, of course, I want to win, but there's a way that you want to win. But the foundation is to get a win, and that's where I'm starting off as.
Whenever I watch you, Josh, you're very methodical. You don't seem to waste anything that you throw. With that in mind, what opportunities or gaps from what you've seen of Stepien will he present to you that you can exploit?
The fight will unfold, and the gaps and things will show up and open up. Of course, there's things that I've been doing in camp, working on in camp that I'll be looking to apply, that I will be applying, and you know that being done, the gaps will open up, man.
I imagine activity is going to be key for you now. So beyond Saturday night, what next for you? Have you looked at what you've said to Boxer?
I go back out to camp in about 3 weeks after that. So the turnover's quite quick, which shows that, you know what, I want to box. Everything will go well, hopefully, and then I'll be back out in camp again. 2 fights soon again.
I spoke to Ben earlier. I asked Ben, when's the world title opportunity going to come? Obviously, the current champions being Bivol and Beterbiev, those seem to be tied up for now. So where do you fit in trying to secure your own world title fight?
When you asked him that, what did he say?
He said he's got every belief that you will get your opportunity within the next year.
Then that's the answer, right? If the titles are tied up, what's it called? I'm getting distracted. If the titles are tied up and what's it called? Bivol, I don't know when Bivol's fighting, but Beterbiev is fighting Callum Smith. I have to stay where I am, man. Keep winning, keep getting the fights that I need to get, so that when that opportunity does present itself, I'll step in.
What do you make of anyone who's been critical of you deciding not to take that Dmitry Bivol offer previously from Matchroom?
Couldn't care less, man. Why would I care? Whoever they are, they're living their life right now, right? And I'm living my life here, so I couldn't waste energy thinking about it. You know, it's that. I'm that nonchalant about it, bro. I'm sure you got stuff in your life to think about, so do I. Trust me.
Josh, with that in mind, obviously we're expecting Bivol to face Canelo in September. Obviously you've got the Beterbiev-Smith fight, as you mentioned. So for you, everybody keeps mentioning that potential Dan Azeez fight. Now, we had Dan do a podcast with Robin. He said you two have always been cool. You've always had a great deal of respect for each other. If it happens, it happens, but it's not like you're going to go out of your way to call each other, and it's not like you signed with Boxer for the purpose of just having that fight. If it's there, it is there. Is it one move that, especially for both of you looking towards World Honours now, it could be more realistic whilst those titles are tied up?
Yeah, I think the narrative that was put out there was that I moved to Boxer just to fight Dan. It's a lie, man. Dan and I are good friends, yes. When you look at the rankings, last time I checked, I was number 1, he was number 2. So if a number 1 and number 2 fight, no one will say anything. But just because there's Dan Azeez and I know him, people want to say something and again put out false narratives that, oh, I've gone over to Sky because of wanting to fight Dan. No, it's a fight that could happen. Hopefully all these fights with the light heavies can happen, but that was not the primary reason or secondary reason for me going to Boxer, no.
Do you think as 1 and 2 then, as some form of a final eliminator, it would make sense for you both towards in your next fight or maybe the end of the year to share the ring?
Of course, because then it means that the winner will get a crack at the title. Why not?
Just looking obviously at the rest of the names, you've got the likes of the Yards, the Spider Richards, and what have you. You've already fought Spider, obviously, but because they're all across different platforms now, what's Ben said to you about trying to make those fights?
I think we've seen that Sky and Boxer are happy to actually work with other promoters and other channels and to make fights happen. We've seen that, so that's a good enough sign.
Josh, just a couple of quick topics to get your thoughts on. Ben Whittaker returns this weekend. He's been vocal about a potential fight with you down the line. I interviewed him after a show and he said, you and Dan Azeez, you've come to his platform. So do you think at some point?
It's everyone's platform, man. Go where you can and be appreciated and be relevant, and when it's time to fight, you fight. I think Ben's a good fighter. You know, I've been sparring Ben from the amateurs. We haven't sparred for years, but just from the amateurs, of course, he went to the Olympics, won a silver, and these are fights that, like, from joining the game, I've learned that you could potentially fight anyone. Even the guys that are the weight below you, above, they could move up, move down. So with all these guys, I'm aware that we all could potentially fight, but the word is potential. There's some light heavies that, you know, I hope we can mix it up soon rather than it being potentials.
Beterbiev-Smith, what are your thoughts on that one now? We had the purse bids the other day.
Good fight. I think that in terms of who's going to win it, I think that it's an interesting one, and I've said this in a lot of the interviews. It's for us to see whether we think Beterbiev has aged or whether he's still got it. That's what I think it is, man.
Joshua, I just want to get your thoughts on a recent article that came out from Thomas Hauser suggesting that Anthony Joshua should retire. People were critical of his performance against Jermaine Franklin.
Next question. I don't even care about stuff like that and people like that. I don't even know who he is. Coming up with mad stuff. Next one.
Just sticking with AJ then, the performance against Franklin, some people thought that we never saw that explosive return that people expected to see, and maybe he was a little gun-shy, a little wary of what was coming back at him for someone who's been so close to him for many years. Did you see that at all yourself?
The question we should ask is, did he win? The answer is yes. Had he have lost, my goodness, you guys would be killing him. Thank God he won. Next question.
Joshua Wilder in December, a smart move?
Smart move. It's a good fight. Both fighters are taking it, so yeah, it makes sense for them, makes sense for us.
And the final one, Josh, because I know we've got to wrap this up. Joe Cordina, your good friend, became a two-time world champion the other weekend. I remember I spoke to Fraser about this, seeing you two jumping up and down on the ropes when you won it the first time round. How ecstatic was you for what he was able to do a second time?
Cordina messaged me yesterday wishing me luck, and I responded back to him saying, if you remember when we all turned pro, I put out a tweet saying we're all very good, but the best of all of us is Cordina. I said it many years ago. I've seen the guy box around many times, so I'm happy for him, man. Very happy for him.
Right, Josh, we'll leave it there now. I know you got to shoot. I appreciate you doing this, though. Enjoy your night, and thank you.
Appreciate it. Thank you, man.